Oh, I feel for my brother. You're my brother. I feel for my brother. Oh, no, no. Feel for my brother. I won't go home. I feel for my brother. I won't forget you, no. I feel for my brother. I feel for my brother. I feel. Oh, I feel for my brother. I feel for my brother. Oh, I feel for my brother. Feel for my brother. You know, a lot of my brothers are dead or gone, but they've been hanging on the block a little too long. What can I say? I hope they live to see a brighter day. And the ones that are doing fine, God bless you, 'cause you're doing fine. At the end of the day, don't forget about me. As days turn to weeks, and weeks turn to years, oh, I feel for my brother. And as time passes by, I see you not satisfied. Oh, I feel for my brother. Feel for my brother. The street life used to be on, straight up hustling till the break of dawn. Taught me how to do wrong right, everything inside. But somehow things started to change. Try to get us straight up out of the game. You couldn't see what I saw. The empire was starting to fall. And everything that I said never.
Yeah, we in the house, y'all. One Night Just Stands here, Saundrea Coleman's here, and we have a special guest. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. We got things to talk about today, y'all. Oh my God. And I'm sorry I'm running a little late. I know it's 4:17, but I wanted to make sure that we were straight and everything was going right. I had to download some videos and stuff. It's gonna be a big show, y'all. Once again, you are now tuned into One Nycha every Sunday, 4 o'clock, and we got a conversation. I'm gonna hit the button.
I miss you, man. You're my brother. I said I love you, babe.
All right, y'all, let's go to work. Once again, you're now tuned into the One Night Show. It goes down every Sunday at 4 o'clock. And you know what? It's good to be here. You know, the energy's right. This was a great weekend, by the way, y'all. If you was in New York City this weekend, let me tell you something how it went down. We went crazy on Friday because it was warm, right? We felt that air, and we was like, yo. I was late for my own show because of that on Friday. I was hanging out. I went to Rondazzo's in Sheepshead Bay. Got some clams on the half shell. Had a couple of beers. You know, I enjoyed myself. You know, I got the new car. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still a driving fool. I go where I want to go, you know? So it's good. I'm going to crack the mics. Everybody's in the house right now.
Yeah, he rocking and rocking.
Yeah.
He couldn't even go, right? He talking and we couldn't even go. I'm like, you got us muted still.
I had to hit the button. So the button's open, man. The phone lines are open if you want to call, you know. At the bottom of the screen. Oops, number's not there. Yo, don't call anyway, so I ain't mad. And we got a Zoom going today?
Yeah, a little later.
So I'm going to hit the button. All right. Once again, One Nycha every Sunday at 4 o'clock. Couple of things going on. Some big stuff going on at the station, so it's going to be hot. And I'm going to drop it like this. 1, 2, 3, and bang.
All right.
We are back. Oh, man, it feels good to be here.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes,
just some
sir.
Sundays it's like that.
Feels good to be
It
alive.
feels good to be alive.
yes,
yes.
And I still have to talk to you, Saundrea. And I have to talk to Khari, right?
Okay.
Because we got to
Yes.
talk because y'all did something that I'm a little concerned about doing
Okay.
that I've been a little bit
As a
tipping
black
about
man.
doing. Yes, as a black man. So as black people, y'all here, and maybe y'all could talk me through the situation.
Okay.
So, I mean, this week, what happened this week? A couple of things. Some things for Boardwalk Global Media happened. We're getting ready to start doing one of the shows that we do here up actually at Hot 97. So that's kind of a cool thing.
Big.
We're about to do.
That's big.
Yeah.
Doing big things.
So things are kind of moving along, and that's kind of been my week. My week has been really short and just kind of preparing for stuff. The other day we did with Reverend Kirsten John Foy, we had a forum with NYPD with the actual brass. They were at Hezekiah Walker's church.
Okay.
And they did a relations between the black community and the police.
Very
You know what I'm
important.
saying?
Okay.
Very
Very
important.
important.
So we streamed that, and that was very, very powerful. You know what I'm saying? It was good. But that was my week. Saundrea, what was your week like?
Ooh, it was busy. So 2 weekends in a row, I was with Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney. We did a walkthrough last Sunday to look at conditions of public housing residents apartments in the common areas. On yesterday, her and I did a walkthrough of our community center, which is a 4-day vaccine site. Today is the last day. It started on Thursday. I received mine on Thursday, praise God, and I am doing fine. I'm doing fine.
I'm going to give you that, but we're going to talk about it.
Yes, we will. I also help other residents, get scheduled and stuff like that. So that was a big thing. Back to Congresswoman Maloney. I was invited by her press secretary to attend the 12th Congressional District Caucus Mayoral Forum series, which she just launched.
Okay.
Yesterday, we were with Scott Stringer. He was on, and I asked him, how will he handle the public housing crisis? And he mentioned a few things, but to me, it just wasn't enough money to flush in what we really need immediately. He also talked about the Battery Park funding. And I, when he's talked about that, I reminded him, we've been fighting for that since 2016. He was like, oh yeah, that's where I know you from. But anyway, so that was that. And then today we had Andrew Yang on. So that was cool. But I'm calling my Amazon fighters that fought against Amazon to check him.
One of them.
Because he also spoke about how the Amazon, that deal that didn't go through should have went through. So y'all need to see him.
He's wrong about that.
So y'all need to get on him because I know y'all did a lot of hard work and press him on that. Question him on that because he said that on forum today. I've been petitioning for 3 candidates. My district leader Eddie Gibbs, Alvin Bragg, who is running for Manhattan District Attorney, and I'm also petitioning for Julie Menon, who's running for District 5 of City Council.
And Carrie Edwards next.
No, he want to get me out, and he want to get me out in Brooklyn. He asked me, but I'm not coming out to Brooklyn, bro. But if I was, I'd be out there for him. So he sounds good. I'm also receiving the Women of Distinction Award with other extraordinary women by Assemblywoman C. Wright. So that's coming up not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday, whatever date that is. So I have to I'm in class, so I have to skip out of class for an hour, but it's worth it.
All right.
And lastly, yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of the death of Breonna Taylor. So, I'm an organizer with US for BLM. That's the Upper East Side for Black Lives Matter. We meet every night at Carl Schutz Park since June 2nd. So and today is our 286th day. So I had a vision. I wanted people to bring a flower or rose out. We put it over social media and it was overwhelming. It was a lot of people. I mean, it was just, I even was like choked up talking at the time, but that's basically it. That was my week. It was big. It was huge. And like I said, once again, I thank God I'm doing okay after the vaccine.
And we're going to talk about that.
Yes.
Because you know how I feel about it.
Yeah.
But now you mentioned the Breonna Taylor thing, right?
Yes.
Here's the irony. The first person that died of COVID in New York City, the anniversary is today. It was the same day, right? It was yesterday.
Wow.
The first person that died in New York City of COVID was yesterday.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And what's today's date? Today's what, the 14th?
14th.
Yeah. This is when it started going down. This is when the lockdown happened and the city was totally closed.
We couldn't visit because I was part of pastoral services with Isabella, so we couldn't come in. So yeah.
This was the day that life changed.
Yeah.
That
March Madness, for real.
March Madness. Big Stan.
Yes,
Hold
sir.
on. Let me
Yes,
put
sir.
the camera on him. Hold
How
on.
tall are you, Stan? Call you Big Stan.
Yeah, I'm 6'4".
Big
I still don't
Stan.
believe it.
6'4", 6'4".
I tease him all the time.
Shooting guard out of
All right.
Brooklyn. Shooting guard out of Brooklyn.
Yes, indeed. All right.
But that's not Mike Jones.
That ain't Mike Jones.
That ain't Mike Jones.
For those of y'all who watch, I just wanted you to know, Mike Jones is over in the corner today. He had to give up his seat to Khari Edwards. You know what I'm saying? So that's what happened. That's why it says Mike Jones. Sorry,
That ain't
Mike
Mike
Jones.
Right.
Mike Jones. All right.
He's in the building.
What's going on?
I want to give a big shout out to the residents in Ravenswood on 1310 34th Avenue and 1306 34th Avenue. Those guys were without gas for almost a year. And now we're coming together to organize with them to maybe do a rent strike, and also hold Nycha accountable for not having gas for a year. And what I think should be happening is that those folks should be getting some money for all the food, all the money you spend on food and all those things. When you have no gas, they should be reimbursed. We're going to be pressuring these elected officials to treat these folks right and make sure that this never happens again. But more importantly, they should be compensated. So we're organizing them now, teaching them about how to go on a rent strike, and getting over the fear. I always say, Nycha residents, do not be fearful. Do not be afraid of being retaliated against.
Right.
Some of them are concerned about that, but we had our first meeting, and we're gonna keep pushing it and really organize these folks and hold Nycha accountable.
We support you.
Yeah, so we're gonna be doing a big rally out there in Ravenswood. Mike, that's your development.
Yeah.
And we're gonna really let folks know what's going on because they did not get a lot of attention like some of the other developments got when they had no gas. But we're gonna turn that around and really shed the light on what's going on over there.
Yeah. Very important.
Yes.
That's dope.
And also a big shout out to Sugar Ray. Today is his birthday.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Big shout out to Big Sugar Ray. He's going to be coming on a little bit later on today.
Happy birthday to you.
Yes.
I'll wait till you come on and I'll sing now.
He's doing some big things.
Wow, Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
So he's
in America.
He's a Pisces too, huh?
Yeah.
I'm about to call you Pisces.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, apparently, people are producing children sometime in the summer, in June, and these March babies. Like, I mean, my Facebook is full of March babies. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I got 3 kids, and they were all born on March 8th. You know what I'm saying? Like, how unlucky am I? You know what I mean? So, really.
True story?
Wow. No, true story. Not even joking. You know what I'm saying? So, that's.
Rock, because Rock be giving it to you.
Come on, baby. I freestyle. I'm freestyling Bob.
Right?
So now I got to introduce our special guest.
Yeah.
A long time coming. We've been trying to get him on the show, and things didn't work out. It was rough. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, but from the second that I met him to talk to him, I'm like, dude, if I lived in Brooklyn, I would just vote for you because I feel your vibe. You know what I'm saying? Please introduce yourself, brother.
Yeah. Who are you?
My name is Khari Edwards, lifelong Brooklynite.
Okay.
I would have been Stan's point guard, but I wasn't that good in ball.
Okay.
Yeah, me either. See, we're kindred spirits.
Right.
People are like, you can't play basketball. I'm like, no.
I coach well though.
Right.
Well.
Your son plays, right?
Yeah, my son plays.
Nice.
Yeah, he played at Bedford Academy.
Okay. Okay.
All state, which was perfect.
Wow.
Sheets left, but he's righty, so that's my guy. Shout out to Ethan.
Okay.
That's my son.
Nice.
Thank you. And an academic All-American too.
Ooh,
Wow.
give him something. Give him the beat.
You want the beat?
He's going to give your child a beat.
That's big.
Nobody see you dancing, Rob.
Oh, that was
Nobody
me
see you
dancing.
dancing. Put the camera on you, Rob.
Oh, wait.
Let them see you dancing.
Can I give him the beat? There it is.
There you go.
Here we go. Oh.
I don't know, that dance. That's that chair dance. That chair dance is serious.
That's it. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, but I mean, thank you guys for having me. I know it's been a long time coming, but God don't make mistakes.
No, he
today
don't.
was the day that I was supposed to be here.
This is the day.
And I was warned that this is a tough show, so I came ready with all my mental notes and ready to go.
Okay.
But I want to also shout out a couple people, if y'all don't mind.
Sure.
I want to shout out Miss Loretta from Coney Island Houses.
Okay.
Miss Lynch from Site 8 in Coney Island as well. Barbara McFadden from Nostrand Houses, and also Miss Boyce from Bayview Houses. Part of my candidacy is to really touch the folks who really mean a lot to the community. And I've been spending a lot of time in Nycha, so being on the show is a blessing as well. And to your point about those tenants that don't have heat, we're trying to do some stuff over at Site 8, because they have a big mole problem. And
Oh,
so
okay.
we're trying to organize them. So I need little tips on that as well.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to roll. I'm excited. I'm excited.
You ready to be here?
Yes, sir.
Great, good.
I'm so
good.
glad you're here, man. So you're running for Brooklyn Borough President, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So here's what I want to know. What's your platform? Talk to the people. Let them know what it's about, what you want to do for Brooklyn, right?
Right.
And you can move from Nycha, you can move to schools, wherever you want to go. You know what I'm saying? We want to know your platform, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Because you sent me a video, didn't you?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
I
right.
did.
So before we get into you, I'm going to play the video.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
All right, what you said, right? So let me scroll down
Dopey
here.
dope.
Yeah, hold
It's
on.
dopey dope.
It's dopey
I
dope.
saw it earlier.
Yeah, it's dope.
Good, it's good. Good job, good job.
This guy here.
Hey, Khari, thank you for helping me out today with the food in the pantry.
Good afternoon, Mr. Edwards. I'm just really calling to say thank you.
Listen, man,
You
the
are
kids
the
really
best.
appreciate
Hey,
it.
Khari, it's me, Janelle Jones. Just wanted to say thank you
Good
so
evening,
much.
Mr. Edwards. This is Elaine.
So God bless you, Miss Eva, and you continue to do the work that
are
you do.
truly a son of Brooklyn. We all appreciate you, and we thank you. Hey, Daddy Smalls, I want to thank you.
I was born here. Brooklyn Jewish Hospital, 1973. I was raised here. Lefferts Playground, St. Mark's Day School, Midwood High School. Still live here, Crown Heights. Raised my children here, public school education. My daughter went to Mark Twain. My son graduated from Bedford Academy. This is my home, and home means everything to me. This has been a rough year, to say the least. Our community's been through it. So much sadness, so much stress, too much tragedy. I know this is gonna sound like rhetoric, but I think this statement is true. This moment has provided us a chance to change things. This year has given us an opportunity to remember what's important. This year has shown me that we can't sit on the sidelines. While we continue to elect the same politicians to do things the same way, that they've been doing them forever. I'm not a politician. This was the only way I could introduce myself to you and the many who don't know me. My name is Khari Edwards, and I'm running for Brooklyn Borough President. I want to be your next borough president for two simple reasons. I believe in putting people first, and most importantly, Brooklyn is my home. I'm Khari Edwards. I'm Brooklyn vested, and I approve this message.
Wow.
Damn.
Very good.
Couldn't even have done a better intro. It's like, that first of all, that was very well thought out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love hearing the phone calls because that's your testimonials right there.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? The people are like, yo, you're doing things in the community. So
Yeah. I would like to say too, it's vivid.
Yeah.
It's vivid. It pricks your heart. You know what I'm saying? Like my eyes got a little watery, and I seen the video a couple of months ago. But just watching it now, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's like my first time seeing it, and it's like, if I lived in Brooklyn, honestly, dude, man, I vote for you.
You got friends in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I do. We're gonna talk because I'm gonna endorse you myself
Thank
too.
you.
I'm a leader, so
Thank you.
yeah, I'm gonna endorse you. I'm saying it on the show right now. I personally endorse you, brother. I don't even know who else is running. I endorse you. No, because I'm done. But go ahead.
Well, I can just say, as a brother from Brooklyn,
Yeah.
definitely I wish you all the best.
Thank
You know, I know Brooklyn needs a lot. We need leadership, and not
Yeah.
the same old leadership we've been having. So I'm looking for a different role from you,
Appreciate that.
and really do something different because Brooklyn needs it. Brooklyn needs it.
So is there an incumbent right now that's running against you, or is it an open field?
No, so it's an open seat. Eric Adams is presently the Brooklyn Borough President, and he's running for mayor. So the beautiful thing about city government, except when Bloomberg was there, it's a two-term,
Yes.
you get it in, you do what you're supposed to do, and if they like you, go on to something else. If not, you just find something else to do. So right now it's just an open seat. About 8 of us are running, maybe 9, I think, for the seat. So we're excited though. I mean, I think, it's a lot of folks running for whatever their reasons are, but when we're on these screenings and stuff, I appreciate the fact that we really don't down each other. Everybody's platform is important to them.
Right.
And I just think is the reality of the execution.
So here's an interesting question that, how do you think Eric Adams did as borough president? Like, how do you think his job? How do you think he did?
Tough question number one. Right?
Put him on the spot. Well, is Eric backing you? Or
Well, so Eric and I have been friends. So
Okay.
I used to work for the state senate when Eric was a state senator.
Gotcha.
I really respect and appreciate Eric as a human being, and he has done a lot of great things. Right. I do think that every borough president can be improved on from the last one.
Of course.
There are some great things and Eric is a real visionary. If people don't really understand, Eric has a lot of amazing ideas, and he tries to do his best to put these things forward. So one of the things that I think that I'm definitely going to steal from him, and I give him credit for this all the time, is that what Eric did was he paid for permits for schools, right? And so what we don't realize, and this is a point in Coney Island, I bring up Coney Island because one of the screenings I was on, they were like, we need community centers, And what I told the residents, I said, look, you have 100 different schools out there.
Right.
And instead of like you maybe having to build a brand new state-of-the-art facility, let's open up the schools, right? So one of the things that Eric did do was pay for permits so that schools could be opened up a little more. And so I'm going to take that. So I'm telling everybody on this show right now that, once we get our kids back in school and I take this office, we're going to pay for those permits so the schools are open after 4 o'clock.
Okay.
The kids could stay, be safe, have stuff to do. Look, I did debate in my junior high school around the corner from me, and that's something I don't ever forget. So that's one of the definite things that I would like to take from Eric.
Well, one thing I like to say, Eric Adams, I believe, is for RAD. I think I heard him say that.
Watch headphones. Don't turn like that.
So,
there you go. Yeah.
So Eric Adams is for RAD, I believe. How do you feel about the privatization of Nycha? What's your view on that?
Okay.
I think that public housing should remain public.
Go ahead.
And the reason why is because Brooklyn in particular, right? Every time something has gone into folks that don't have the moral aptitude for other people, you tend to see people get hurt in that. And I said that, it's a land grab in Brooklyn right now, even though we have land. So every time you privatize a piece of Nycha or a piece of property, then I assume, and I really have a strong assumption that it's not going to be for the people. And until we're able to change the economic resources of folks, that we go from a $34,000 annual salary, average salary, and we're all making 100,000+, that once you privatize something, you're just going to push people out.
Right.
And so, again, like I said, Eric's my dude, but, there's some things that I don't agree with. I don't agree with the development portfolios that some of these candidates are looking at. And so, I worked in Brookdale Hospital for 8 years. And, you ready? Listen. And so my job.
I'm a paramedic.
Oh, good. So you already know.
Yeah, I actually delivered to Brookdale.
Yeah.
Patients that I didn't like.
I'm glad I wasn't there then though. But when you work in Brookdale, which is really the belly of the beast in central Brooklyn, you start to see what that means, right? So if you start to privatize things and folks could barely pay their rent or barely have a job to survive, then what happens, right? And now I joked, I said, the more we keep moving people out of Brooklyn, after Queens, Long Island, then we all gonna be in the Atlantic Ocean going back to Africa. And that's the reality, right? So we have to make sure that, especially with this pandemic, that folks have a place over their heads and that they have money in their pocket, and everything else doesn't matter till we get those two things going.
So I have a question, because I am a member of my local community board, and as a Brooklyn Borough president, or the Brooklyn Borough president, you are over those boards.
Yes.
Have you been are you checking out the boards, or I'm really diversity. The diversity of the board is important to me. For people, even in public housing, seeing that some of them are appointed on the board, because when these, land usage or ULIP processes come up, they should be able to vote, and they should be able to tell, the residents to show up to the meeting, even though they're virtual, so they can get their 2 minutes and, the community board can hear from them because they make decisions. So how do you feel about the community board? What would you do to diversify it, or the ones that are not,
So I'm excited. I have a full community board plan that I'll share with you guys.
Oh, please.
But in the short of the long, I say that the community board has to be be thought of, right? And diversity doesn't just mean, a cultural diversity. It means economic diversity. It also means, and Errol Lewis kind of put me to task on this during our debate. He asked me, well, if Miss So-and-so gets home at midnight from her job during the day or the evening, how does she then get to be part of this community board? So one of the things that that Eric had, but most borough presidents had, is called a directive community boards, right? And that job has been moved around a little bit during his administration. I'm gonna bring that back. And in addition to that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do grassroots campaigns to get folks educated on the community board and then to apply for it, because the borough president's offices get hundreds of applications per community board. Some people just do it because they want to have something next to their name. Some people do it for the right reason. And then I also took the platform of the screening committees, right? So I've probably been 40, 50 different screenings to be the candidate for borough president. What I thought of, I said, you know what? I'm going to take this same concept and take all those applications. It was community board 1, 2, 3, 15, 16, and then turn that over to screening committees from the community. So now if we can't fully diversify the board, we're going to make sure that the people who live in that community, whether somebody's been there 45 years or business has been trying to do stuff, they're going to sit there and they're going to listen to these now borough candidates wanting to get in the community board, show them why. Right? Because sometimes it's just like, if I just check off your application, or you know what, you put enough money in my coffers for campaign, or I got you. It can't be that way, because in the end, it's like, wow, after doing 8 years, that community board is going to still be there. And what happens in that community is going to be my legacy. And if I do it wrong, then I'm stuck. So what we're definitely going to do is we're going to make sure that every application is screened, and we're going to encourage people to apply. And then also I'm going to change something that I want 14 to 18-year-olds to get to be part of the board, right?
That's great.
Because part of
a young person.
That's good. Yeah, my mother got me into politics a long time ago, and I hated it. But I realized that I was just like, I learned so much, and just paying attention. So I take my 12-year-old with me everywhere. He does all the food stuff, and I'm like, he's enjoying it, but now he wants to understand what the process is.
Great.
So I think that's a way to also keep the youth involved. But yeah, I'm gonna email to y'all. Y'all can put it on the site.
Check that out.
Sorry. Does Brooklyn have for each committee 2 public members are allowed, or do you know?
Yeah, so it's not. Yeah, but it's much the same throughout the city. But what I also want to do is to look at not only the unions, right? Because again, you have unions and businesses that are a part of those communities. The church is a part of those communities. So in that respect, sometimes when we look at it, we don't look at those stakeholders for what it impacts them to. And so, and then the other piece of it, and some of the other candidates have said this as well, so I'm not going to take credit for it, that we're going to have a real like boot camp training for those who decide they want to be on buildings or education, because the reality of it is that you do need to be educated on this. I'm running for borough president, and I've had to study. Like you learn Nycha. It wasn't something I just walked into. Like I sit up at night and read and understand what the policies are. And it's the same thing if you want to do this. I mean, just luckily I get paid as borough president, but most people are doing it voluntarily.
There's something you said that I like to bring up, and I like it. You said that you got involved in politics at what age?
Really, 5 years old.
5 years old.
So yeah, so I got a shout out my mom, Eleanor Bernard, but my mom.
So, and here's what I'm driving at with that question, because I think that should be part of a curriculum in school. I think that kids should learn to debate, critical thinking. They should have debate teams. You know what I'm saying? That they also, if they don't want to be involved in politics, at least they understand it. Right. Because right now what we have going on in our community is that the children don't understand. I mean, in its most basic form, they don't even understand that you're supposed to vote, that you should vote, or what your vote means. Right. And I think that in the schools in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, and Manhattan, in the minority areas, it needs to be that becomes part of a curriculum. Because what made you successful was that you did that. Right. So you understood how to navigate through politics. You know what I'm saying? I think that the schools, it's got to be a new day in schools. Right. Kids don't know how to manage credit cards. They don't understand the
Exactly.
nature of credit.
Right.
Home
Right.
economics has been going a long time.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
We need to bring some of these things back. And I mean, how do you feel about that? And how do you feel about like bringing back shop?
Oh, I remember that.
So I do. So I'll tell you this, right?
Trade.
Because you're talking about what the new movement is, right? And if you talk to some of these young people, like my son and my niece who's working with me, she's 25, and you ask her about Stash and Robinhood, she could tell you the stocks to trade, and I mean maybe a crap ton of money just playing around with it, right? But if you ask her to put some gas in the car, it's a little more difficult, right? And so what we have to do is remain in the basics. I used to work for FEGS 1,000 years ago, and our thing was to get students who did not want to go to college some type of understanding to be knowledgeable, right? And so when you look at, and specifically Nycha, when you talk about, I interviewed with the trade unions, painters, all of these folks, these are gentlemen who, yeah, they could have a college degree, but they have that basis. And foundationally, if we don't have that basis, or we continue to think that that's not needed, there's going to be something that happens that we're going to need it. And, one thing that COVID did show us is that you could be a stock person, you could be a tech person, but if you can't even go and cook some food or even or grow food, you're done. And so, yeah, I think all of those things need to be introduced. I really believe in getting our vocational schools, Westinghouse and the Grady's, into this new green job initiative. How do we build the batteries for Tesla? How do we talk about, the windmills? Like, how do we do those things? And there's a lot of land in Brooklyn that we can do that. I mean, some folks disagree about bringing in basic manufacturing jobs, but we could bring back manufacturing education. And by that, then you're going to see a whole new world.
Right. Thank you. And I enjoyed that answer because it's well thought. Like, you've been thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're right. Like, I feel like our kids are getting a little bit lost. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we're getting a little bit lost in the sauce, and they've eliminated.
He had to make a rhyme. Lost in the sauce.
They're lost in the sauce because they eliminated so many things from our schools. You know what I'm saying? That good to know computers, but also you need to know how to fix a car.
Some schools don't even teach cursive no more.
Right. Yeah. Even how to sign your name.
Right. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's
Everything
insane.
is electronic.
I mean, think about it this way: they'll teach you how to build a program, but you don't know how to build a computer.
Right.
So you don't know what wire goes into another wire, but you sure know how to break in a bank account if you want to. But you sure know how to build it. So
let me ask a question now. Brooklyn has been definitely overdeveloped over the years with the Barclays Center, Metro Tech, Atlantic Yards, and a lot of real estate is happening in Brooklyn. So my big question to all candidates: are you receiving any money from real estate, and what candidates are, if you want to talk about it?
So I have received money from, and I'll shout him out because I have to, Alexander Roth, right? He's been in the news lately, talking about how much money he's giving the governor. He's a billionaire, right? But he is the chairman of One Brooklyn Health, and he was the chairman of Brookdale Hospital.
Okay.
This gentleman grew up poor, right? And made his $1 billion. And when I tell you that I was incensed when they were talking bad about him, because he made his money. So anytime we've needed anything for the Black community, anytime we needed anything for East Brooklyn, I reached out to that man. He's never hesitated, right? So I did receive money from him, which I will not give back because I understand and believe who he is as a person, not because of the dollar signs on his name. But that's the only developer that I've received money from that, I think it hit the news when I first did it, but I stand for people that I'm loyal to. And like I said, we were doing something with Nycha in Brownsville with Latrice Walker and Alika Samuel, and we had 800 homeless folks and tenants come to Lincoln Terrace Park, and the truck broke down, and Mr. Roth paid $10,000 to the local grocery stores to make sure food bags were there. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So I'm not going to turn around and be like, so no, that dude really stepped up. And so, yeah, that's the only money that I received from a developer.
Okay.
And he stood up for the community too.
Always.
So, it's sometimes it's not the title developer.
Right.
But what is the character of the person?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what anything is, right?
Yeah. And the thing about it is, right, all development is not bad.
Right.
What I'm afraid of when you talk about just the overpopulation of Brooklyn in itself, right? We're not building 1 or 2 bedroom apartments or studio apartments to fit families, right? Nycha's the last. Nycha's the last.
Hold on, Sugar Ray.
Oh, sorry, Sugar Ray. You want to go? Yeah,
Sugar Ray.
Yo, what's up? Oh man, pardon me. Pardon my delay. It's my birthday.
You just jumped in like, ow!
Yo.
1 second. Wow, happy birthday.
It's my birthday. I'm in here chilling. I'm here with my man Punch Dollar. We at All Stars Bar and Grill in the city, having a brunch, having some drinks and some food and some dope conversation, just building community. Shout out to One Nycha, man. You know, we do it for Nycha, we do it for the hood. We do it for the hood, we do it from the bottom. You know, we come from the bottom, we come from the dirt, and we pushing and we building. It's shout out Stan Morris, you know, shout out Andrea Cole, shout out Rock Logic. Yo, what's good?
Can you just bend down just a little bit so that we don't see your shirt?
he backed up.
I didn't want to see it.
It's all good. It's all good.
I love it. That's a real message. That's a real message. Bro, how old are you, man? How old are you right now? You ain't lying. We're trying to do that, right? Because we want to hang out. But how old are you, brother? How old are you, Sugar Ray?
Yo, I'm good, man. I'm really excited. You know, a lot of amazing opportunities ahead of us, a lot of amazing connections, partnerships. So I'm just excited to keep building, you know, keep building with the people on the ground, to keep, you know, pushing positive change, pushing a message of like transformation, like we could do it. Like we the people, no matter what position we're in, no matter what our title is, no matter what we have or don't have, we, the people who care about their fellow humans, their fellow Americans, their fellow brothers and sisters, like we have what it takes to build a better community. You know what I mean? So I just want to keep pushing that message. And I'm excited that it's being received by so many people. You know, and they're putting me in a position to win as an individual artist myself, but also as a community leader, put me in a position to put on for my people, you know, create opportunities for others. So I'm really grateful. You know, I'm 37 today. I'm happy. On March 9th, March 9th, made 14 years I've been home from prison, and on March 9th, I signed a contract with the museum. I signed a contract with the Museum of Modern Art. Right, I'm an artist in residence with fucking MoMA, excuse my language, but with MoMA, I'm an artist in residence, and that's never been done before. No one from where I'm from who have been through what I've been through have ever done anything like this, right? And so like we're like breaking barriers, and so I'm in there, and now I'm bringing other people in already. Like so we need to put on for this person and that person, and so I'm excited and I'm grateful. You know, let's keep it going. One night, let's get it.
Oh, yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. It's good to see you, brother. 37. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to let you get back to partying and hanging out with your people. And
yo, appreciate y'all.
We got 2 more.
Yo, Rock Logic, Saundrea, Coleman, Stan Moss, thanks for making space for me. Thanks for making space for us. Thanks for doing this.
Happy birthday to you.
Hey, they singing for me.
Happy birthday to you.
Hey.
Happy birthday, Sugar Ray.
Hey.
Happy birthday to you.
Hey. Yo, appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Right there. Right there.
Yo, hey, what's up, fam? How you doing? Everyone in the joint.
So there goes
for sure.
2 other powerful leaders in the Queensbridge area.
We done had a party.
Yes, Holly Hood
see you.
and Donnelly. So
Donnelly.
what's going on? What's the latest, Holly Hood? What you working on? What's going on?
Here.
I'm here.
What's going on?
All right.
This is one of the dopest producers in the city.
Okay.
Straight out of Queensbridge.
Okay.
Got a lot of great stuff going on. What's the latest and great? Also does a lot of community work, gives out vegan food every Wednesday, every Friday with Sugar Ray. But go ahead, Holly Hood, you tell a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm just I'm a 37-year-old music producer from Queensbridge. You know, I'm into options trading. I'm into stock trading, like the brother was saying. You know, just out here building, man. Out here trying to change the world, and and push this whole thing forward. And that's what I'm here doing, man. And also vegan. I want people to eat better, so that when you eat better, you think better. So that's another initiative that I got going on too. And yeah, man, just out here making things happen, changing the world. Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
And he's gonna be part of my new show, the
Okay.
Hip Hop, Health, and Politics.
Okay.
He's gonna be on there. You're gonna be on there too, right, Donnie? What's going on, Donnie?
I like that background you
What's going
got,
on,
dude.
Donnie? What's
Look
going
at
on,
that
Donnie?
background. Yeah, I see four guys in coalition.
Oh, wait.
That's us. That's us.
Hey,
That's us.
you know the vibes. Yo.
I got my receipts on the work I do. Thank you, brother.
The world famous Donnie. What's going on, Donnie? What you up to these days?
That's my Dubai buddy. We gonna hit it.
Great to see y'all. You already know I got to be with the people every time, even on Zoom. Straight up.
I see it. Yeah.
We outside even
Donnie,
when we
tremendous
inside.
amount of work. Black Lives Matter. Go on, tell the folks a little bit about what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. First and foremost, shout out to everybody in the room, Stan, Rock, Saundrea. Always a pleasure to be here with y'all. But yeah, I'm Donnelly, community organizer, activist. Very close to being a civil rights attorney. I'm 2 months out from graduating.
Yes. Can't wait. We need you.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, man, we've been building, we've been feeding the people, teaching the people, right? Talking about police abolition, talking about restoring Nycha, a Green New Deal for public housing, and just continuing the fight on the ground. Like Hollywood said, we outside, we're feeding people every Wednesday, every Friday, every Tuesday, right? We're in the hoods that need the support for self-empowerment, right? Mutual aid efforts, right? So specifically over the past couple of weeks, I've been interning at the Queens Legal Services and just been on the litigation side of the complaints that we've been filing on behalf of Nycha tenants through the Justice for All Coalition, which stands.
Right, good.
And so I've just been drafting up the complaint for harassment against Nycha, right? We're in the process of getting that out really soon. So I've been working one-on-one with tenants in Queensbridge, particularly 3 of them right now, just drafting up their statement of facts and looking at the case law around harassment and seeing how we can really look at the precedent in the law for how repeated failure to make repairs constitutes harassment, right? So we're in that process right now. And, I've been on the organizing front for the past 2 years with Stan, organizing rent strikes, filing the complaints. Stan has been doing immeasurable and amazing work, just getting the complaints out there. And that's been critical for the legal side of it, right? Because we have all the documents, we got the facts, and now it's just a matter of putting it out there, right? And the strategy is really just people power, right? Meeting people where they're at, feeding people, building community through the mutual aid efforts, right? In Queensbridge, in Ravenswood, in Astoria, in Woodside, right? My house has become a warehouse for the Ravenswood community fridge. Like I got packages day in and day out coming in from people who are donating to the community refrigerator and just going out there and stocking the fridge, and at the same time talking to the people and using that as an opportunity to identify the issues, right, that they're experiencing, the food injustice, the food apartheid, the conditions that—
Wait. The food apartheid. You must address this. What are we talking about? What is the food apartheid?
Food apartheid is the fact that like they're literally starving our neighborhoods, right, overtly and institutionally, from quality food and quality access to food, right? And this is happening in Black communities. This is happening in brown communities. This is happening in poor communities, right?
The environmental justice.
Yes, exactly. So this is an issue of food quality, right? And it's deeply associated with our class position, our race position, right? Because it's happening in the hood. It's happening in Cambridge. It's happening in Ravenswood. It's happening in Astoria, right? And this is why the community refrigerators have been pivotal as a way for food justice, right? And a lot of people think that this is charity. It's not charity. This is mutual aid. This is not giving to people. It's working with people to identify the resources that we have in our communities and putting it together, right? For the people, by the people. And this is about political power. This isn't about like feeling good and giving something to the needy. No, this ain't about giving it to the needy. This is about bringing power to people, right?
So I have a question for you. So if someone was hungry, let's say, right, you know, how would they get at you to come and see you to get some food? Like,
So,
is there an email address? Do they just come? Like, how does that work?
Well, we got the community refrigerator on
Right.
deck. It's
Right.
We have the Queensbridge Community Fridge on 40th Ave and 12th. We have the Ravenswood Community Fridge on 36th Avenue and 12th Street. We have the Astoria Refrigerator on 8th Street and Astoria Boulevard. And the Woodside Refrigerator is coming real soon. It's in the process. It's painted. It's about to get set up. But just go to those locations and the food is there, right? And if you want to donate food, you can donate food as well. Just got to adhere to the labeling rules that we have, which are placed on the refrigerator so that we can keep everyone safe. But ultimately speaking, the food is outside. It's outside.
Yeah.
So wait, the refrigerator is literally outside?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah. You walk up and get something out of there.
Right.
Something to drink, something to eat.
I want to give
I had to get clear on that because I didn't understand.
Because he's been out there. Can you tell him how long you've been out there, Miles, giving out food in the cold and the just about that?
Nah, we've been out here like at least like 8 months. You know, we went through all seasons. You know, just feeding the people, getting them used to a new type of eating, like letting them know that they have better options in this world besides the Chinese restaurant, besides the heroes, besides that. Because you know, at the end of the day, if we feed them better, they're gonna think better and they'll be like less volatile. So people understand like it goes hand in hand with what you eat and how your mood is and how your actions are. So we making sure that just making sure that people understand like you can eat this and this is a little bit better. This is better for your diabetes and your high blood pressure.
Come on, bro.
Like let's do that. Let's get away from that because those are all things that we are like that are like oppressing us like right now. Like we're oppressed to these things that we are these lifestyle diseases that we have full control over. And we just got to take our power back. You know what I mean? And that's really like even what Donnelly's saying. This is all about taking power back and understanding that we hold the power instead of giving the power away and playing victim. So this is all we started on the ground with the feeding and just keep elevating, keep progressing this process and go from there. So
what I like about what you're saying is, and I just want to get clear with my people that are listening right now. You all accept the fact that you get sick with diabetes and high blood pressure and you go to the doctor and you take that stupid medication. When you're not realizing you're being poisoned by your food, that's why you have to go to the doctor and take the stupid medication.
And the medication hurts them too.
Exactly, because once you start with the medication, then we need another medication to fix that. You know what I'm saying? So, and that is the food genocide. The food apartheid that you're talking about.
Yes.
Right? Because they're doing that and we eat, we're consuming it. It. And then we go to the doctor and next thing you know, okay, they're cutting your foot off. Right. But you've been getting too much sugar.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When if we had better food in the hood, like you said, Chinese restaurants and the heroes, we grew up on that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But we didn't grow up on fresh fruit and fresh vegetables.
But it's a choice, like you said, it's a choice. And then we have to make better choices so we can live longer because we always hear these diseases are hereditary, but it also comes to how we've been eating our whole life.
Correct. Exactly.
Right?
That's why it's hereditary.
Exactly. But it's not. When you think about it, it's not. Because it's what you've been eating and what you was taught to eat.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's how you inherit it, right?
Let me chime in real quick.
One second. My mother came from the South. She made pig feet and chitlins every Sunday. Right? Okay, hereditary. You know what I'm saying?
Pass it on.
Go ahead.
You know what it is? We all like the thing about it is we're born with the traits of our parents. And the thing is, I share your diet, then that unlocked the problems that you had. Now I have. So it is hereditary, but we unlock the door with the lifestyle, with the similar lifestyle. So once we change the lifestyle, then we can be different. But first we got to give people information. You got to put the information out and understand and change the narrative that understand there's a correlation between food and disease. Let's get that narrative out there. Let's keep pushing that until people fully understand that. And then we can start really changing things.
Yeah, awesome. We got to bring y'all back on the whole show. We got to because we got to finish up our guests. We got to do
Thank y'all, man.
Listen, I just want to say I appreciate y'all because I'm a type 1 diabetic. I've been a type 1 diabetic since I was 4 years old. the genesis of what happened to me was that I got a flu and my mom fed me sugar. As you know, because it was just the juice, right? The juice is what's attractive, and my beta cells overworked. So anytime I meet a type 1 diabetic, I look at them with envy and I tell them, look, you can do exactly what you can to change that. I can't at this point.
That's correct.
You know? And so therefore, you know, what you're doing, my brother, I appreciate both of y'all because it's important. And like you said, breaking that trend, that prison of what we had back in the 1800s is what the real reality is. So I thank y'all for that, because there's a lot of young men that need that, especially with diabetes and women. So
I want to let you guys know I'm moving towards being a vegan myself.
Okay. Let's go, Stan. Let's go, Stan. I gotta get Donnelly next. I gotta get Donnelly next.
Look, this is what I say.
You gotta try it now.
I'm not a vegan, but I eat vegan. All right. So,
I'm sorry. I'm working on.
But I definitely appreciate y'all.
Yo, I want to thank y'all for coming on, man. Like, really. That's tremendous. And I'm gonna get back to Khari, all right? Because I got to talk to him for a few. You're welcome.
I just got to tell Khari one thing. One thing and one thing only. You don't need developer money. You need people power. So give that money back and let's get into the.
Now you ain't hear the explanation, brother. I ain't giving that money back.
In fact, after the show, I'm gonna talk to him, see how we can bust it down.
No, because the guy that gave it to me believes in people power. So I wouldn't have taken it from somebody who takes from others. He has done what you guys are doing. He has done at the minute of a dime. So that's why I explained it that way. I don't take any of these other developers' money, but I have a relationship, and I've seen what he's done for our people in the good way. So that's why. So you know, I mean, let me preface.
And I mean, and just to be clear with that, right? All developers aren't bad guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you no,
we had this conversation.
If you have a developer, if you have a developer that really truly wants to develop the hood for real, right? Because what's the name of the pastor that built up all that real estate out here in Queens? Okay, he's a developer.
Well, I mean,
he's a developer. He developed the property and did what he did.
Bring me back to the show, and I'll explain exactly why it doesn't matter what their character is. It's about what their interests are, and their interests are profits and gentrifying our neighborhoods.
I'm on your side.
And Donnelly, you are coming back, Mr. Rodriguez.
Y'all both are coming back. We're gonna do a show.
Listen, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
I'll talk to y'all. We're gonna book y'all.
Yeah,
okay, we'll set a date.
I'm gonna enjoy that debate.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
We gotta get into it.
Yeah, we'll bring him in.
I'll hold a different position, but
all right. So, Khari, I'm back to you.
Back to you. This is a little. We getting busy today. Getting busy today.
Nah, we getting back. Yeah, you know, we making good trouble right now. Good trouble. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, a lot of things just happened.
Right.
A lot of things just happened and transpired. But I just want to get back to you and really, like, what is your core thing? What is your platform? Is it all one night? What are we talking about? And the kids thing, I love that.
Right.
The police situation, what's happening with that in your hood? You know what I'm saying? You know, the murder rate in Brooklyn, the crime in Brooklyn. How are you addressing these things?
Well, so my number one platform is to get our community healthy, right? You know, a lot of folks are going to talk about, financial issues. How do we get folks back in small businesses? But if folks can't come outside and do what we're doing now in a safe way, then it's never going to happen, right? We're becoming prisoners in our own place. My second priority is housing and every alliteration of housing, right? So you're not just talking about Nycha, but you're again talking about just folks who don't have enough size, right? You have a family of 3 and you can only afford a 1-bedroom because they're priced out. So what my brother was saying about the development, that I agree with that, right? When you create a dynamic where people can't afford to live, that's a problem. And then also the homelessness, right? Because the homelessness is really a subset of the fact that we can't house children and families because the children and families are living in these shelters. Right. So you have the folks who have to live on the street because they don't want to be in warehouse situations where we do have these homeless shelters, and I'm not in love with a lot of them, but if we take families and move them into permanent homes, then we can take those folks who are sitting on the street that deserve a bathroom, deserve a bed to feel like people, and move them into these transitional shelters, cut the rate that we're paying these transitional shelters by half because now we can support families being in homes. It changes the dynamic. So when we talk about that development, development is necessary to build affordability, but real affordability. So one of the conversations, and I hope he's still on, that about the 421A, right? So when you look at what the 421A process has done over the years, it's made the rich richer. You basically give tax credits or tax abatements for 15 to 50 years for someone to build units, but then turn around and put it at 80% market rate, right? So now you basically making them triple rich. So one of so a borough president can introduce legislation and resolutions, even though he can't vote on them. So one of my first objectives is to introduce a resolution that the city council will take up to now, if we are going to keep the 421A program, we mandate those who are getting these tax abatements to build 60-40, which is 60 low and middle income, right? So that's the real affordability, get them housed. And then you could leave your 40% market rate to make your back money. Right. And then the other piece about it is new legislation that when we build any city or state funded property, they have to have 3 or 4 bedrooms. Right. Yeah. Because the reality of it is, like, my wife and I had a fire and I have 3 children, my 85-year-old dad. We couldn't even stay together while they were building back our place because there was no place to fit a family of 5. And we had means. Right. I was working at the hospital. My wife was working. My dad was getting retirement. What about those who don't have means? And so therefore, we really have to look at it subjectively throughout each alliteration of it and just don't kind of blanket it. So that's why I'm willing to come back on the debate.
Okay, we'll bring you back in. They came on your show. You can bring them back in. That's doable. We'll zoom you in.
One of the shout outs I want to give to Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, right? She introduced legislation to change the area median income, right? The AMI.
Yes. Okay.
So, folks living in Nycha, folks living in Brooklyn, Brownsville, Queens, Bronx, the average median income in the city of New York, outside of the Upper West Side of Manhattan, is $30,000-$40,000.
Right.
So if you have your AMI set anything over 35 or 40, you already price people out.
Yes.
So big shout out now to Biden's in and they got control. Hopefully that bill gets pushed again, and if it doesn't, then I need you guys to help me move that conversation, because that now changes how we afford in our community. So
absolutely.
So it's like I said, I study this stuff. It's not just joke. Like I'm really,
I have a question. I have a question too. There's a lot of apartments in New York City that are vacant.
Yep.
Okay. As a borough president, can you help people get housed there? Can you? I don't know if you can sue the landlord. What can you do as a borough president or city council? What can they do? Because this is a problem.
Yeah. So again, if it's not city or state funded, right, it's a hard move. But what we can do is get into the voucher conversation, right? And that's part of why I don't agree with the RAD, right? Because you have vouchers that are obviously going to be attached to the unit. Which is dope, because I keep saying if I live in Nycha and I win lotto and I leave, then my voucher goes with me. That apartment now becomes market rent.
Right.
So that should stay there. But then you're also talking about domestic violence. You're talking about kids who are aged out of foster care. You just talk about basic voucher programs for folks coming out of shelters, right? How do we maintain enough of those so that if you want an apartment, then that apartment now you can get that voucher for, right? And so there's, like I said, there's a conversation within that. And again, I can introduce legislation on a city level and push every city council member. I mean, shoot, I'm the borough president, right? So I should have at least half of them on my side. And then we push that agenda. And then other than that, what we do is we come on your radio station, we walk with about 30,000 people down to City Hall and say enough is enough. And so that's the role that we get to play from the borough presidency. But yeah, those are my top 2 priorities as it pertains to that.
And it's interesting because you talked about something that one of our guests that was on actually went through, which is being aged out of foster care. Eleanor Bumpers, right? And that was a big thing for her, that she was aged out of foster care. And I think the foster care system is broken, right? Because they're in foster care, but they're not given any type of skill, any type of life survival skill that once they get out. So what happens now? She's one of the fortunate ones, but what happens to the ones that, now I'm in the street, I turned in, selling drugs, doing drugs, and then you transition into jail, which was a situation that was kind of with another guest that we had. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he transitioned and then ended up being sort of in the shelter system.
Alfonso.
Right. So, having your finger, do you have any control over that?
I mean, so
as the Brooklyn Borough president,
you have control over the. All right, so there's some things, right? You have the ULERP process, right? When you want to do rezoning and stuff like that. And again, you have. I don't like using the word a bully pulpit, right? But you have that process. What I'm trying to do is create. What I want to create, or will create rather, will be a housing committee oversight in my office, right? So that we could see who's getting placed, how are they getting placed. One of the things that at Brookdale Hospital, what happened was 7 Hegeman was bought away from the hospital prior to my group coming in. And that landlord basically removed half of the employees that lived there, right? It was 160 units, I think. Removed half of the employees that lived there, brought in the social service because he was getting 3-4 times more for age, right? But never really created a balance or a bridge where those who had to come and make sure that these folks were getting their medication, their follow-up, and all of these resources that were entitled to them for the amount of money he was getting paid, got it. So now you basically, to your point, you may have had somebody aged out of foster care, but had a mental illness, wasn't getting any follow-up. All of a sudden, the drug dealer's like, oh, new folks on the block, let me go and sell drugs. Let me take over these apartments, right? So I think that the biggest thing is to make sure that these social service agencies, one, maintain those relationships with their clients. And that's how we start to move the thing forward. Because what happens is if you leave me alone, and I don't know how to wash dishes, I'm gonna break the dish. And I think that's what's been happening in this case. So yes, in that respect, I will make sure that I fund programs that will maintain those things, because I think that is the crux of it. Once I get a roof over your head, I have to be able to help you keep it and learn how to utilize it. And no one's really doing that.
As the borough president of Brooklyn that you will be, what would you do if mayor overrides the ULEP process? Like we went through it in Phil and Holmes Towers. So the mayor was going to override it.
So, I mean, look, the mayor, whoever the mayor is, right, he, she, or otherwise, they don't want that kind of smoke, right? Because really, I think what happens—
Tell them about it.
It comes down to the point that you have city council members. So you guys were talking about Amazon earlier, right?
Yeah.
And so Amazon, and then you talk about what was Industry City.
Right.
And so Industry City was being fought by a councilman, Nycha.
Yep.
And then if you really pay attention how the ULERP process works, it sucks, right? Because he objected to it, right? The community objected to it. But then it went to other council members who have nothing to do with that community, and they had a chance to override it. And if it wasn't for the community and the uproar and the press of it, then that would have gotten overridden, and they would have gotten that. And what would have happened, right? You'd had Industry City being developed. COVID came, no jobs, no income. People who were promised work wouldn't have been done. So much like I think with Amazon. Same story. Half of them would have got laid off by now, right? So I think that, one, it has to be a charter revision, right? We have to push to get, one, the community boards to actually have a vote, not a recommendation in ULERP. Vote, so community boards only have a recommendation. The borough president puts somebody on the community planning board, but he himself or she himself only has a recommendation. So again, it comes down to if you have the right person getting that money, much like the young man was saying, then the development's going to move forward, right? So I think that one, you have to bring back that really robust community board input, right? There's something where I feel that every developer has to come before the planning stage, right? And say, these are the ideas that we have for these buildings. If you say you come in with 1 bedrooms or studios and that's not working for the community, you can't have already paid that architect to do this without having that. So there's a lot of pieces that I think that, I know we're going to be able to push because we're supposed to have strong relationships. And I'm excited for the other people running for borough president too, because I'm like, look, Queens, Manhattan, whomever, we got to get together and form Voltron on this joint because that's what's really going to come back.
Flex your power, because I was sued the mayor because they didn't go through the ULEP process.
Supposed to.
And, it's set for years. And I pushed a letter from 2016 and 2019 at a community board member at a meeting. I wasn't on the board yet. And I produced that letter that night publicly. And our borough president ran with it and sued the mayor. But we were asking them to go through the ULEP process, and the mayor was bypassing it.
I mean, and one of the things that I have to study more on is this as a right. I've been asked a few times, like, if you own the property, what's your legal standing or your moral standing to the community? And that's something that I'm still studying, so I'm not perfect to answer that question on it yet, but I sure know we'll have an answer by the end of the week.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Well, we have hit that hour. A little bit more, actually, because we just had to do it. It was just too much. I'm like, what's happening? But, I mean, if you want my vote, here's my question, all right? Yes. What can you do about the traffic on the BQE? Between Atlantic, you know that?
Nothing.
Oh, man, we just stuck,
He
y'all.
said, not a ting, not a ting.
We just stuck.
Not a ting.
And I know you've been in that traffic, too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you might want to do something about that.
It almost got me coming over here, and it was nothing out there.
Oh, okay. I'm like, where you at? Where you at?
Yeah, nothing out there.
Man, that traffic don't move, man. Oh, my God.
Worse by the minute.
Don't worry about it.
You've been stuck in traffic in that nice little car you got?
Yeah, girl. You know,
It's a hybrid. Is it a hybrid?
No, not at all. It is a gas guzzler. It don't miss no gas station, baby.
It's a chick pickup car. It's a chick pickup car. That's what it is. I'm gonna blow you up right here. That's what that
There
is.
goes Saundrea. It's over. Nah, you know, it's stylish.
Yeah.
It's stylish, you know.
Yeah, I'd be like, who that? Who that? He roll the window down. I'm like,
It's
rock
a
logic.
stylish car. I wanted people to know when I was pulling up. That's all it was.
nice,
You know what I'm saying? I wanted one of
Little
those.
muscly. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I'm an American muscle car guy.
Nice,
So I have the
nice.
Dodge Challenger. You know what I'm
no
saying?
snow
So-
for you though, right? Rear-wheel drive.
Negative. Exactly.
Right,
Snow
right.
for me, I'm stuck. As long as I'm on concrete, I can beat you.
Speaking
But
of
that-
snow, white.
yeah.
It's white too.
Yeah, it's
Ooh.
white. Yeah,
He want them to see him coming.
She's movie right now.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so,
Before we go, how do folks donate to your
donate to your
campaign?
campaign. How do we
Yeah.
contribute? What's the site? Let's go.
So my website is www.khariedwards.com, KHARI Edwards.com. You can follow me there. Also info at Khari Edwards if you want to volunteer, if you just want to know what stuff that we're putting up every day. I mean, this has been a wonderful journey. It's a lot of stress, but I would never tell anyone, if you have the dream to run for political office and you really have the people in your eyesight, do it. Because, you know, it is something that, you know, you change conversations just by being in a room too.
Yeah.
You know, and so don't ever think that your ideas will be left out, because I've been on a couple of Zooms where folks took my idea from the last Zoom, you know, so now I got to make sure everything's recorded before I beat them.
Yeah, now you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, guess what's going to happen? Someone's going to go after the traffic thing.
Yeah.
So like, you know what? I have an idea for the traffic on the BQE.
That's that.
You know what I'm saying? That's how they do you dirty, man. So you better get prepared to have to deal with that. That's all.
I just hope it's a Queens legislator, not a Brooklyn.
They're not a Brooklyn legislator. That's all. Word up. Listen, it was really good having you.
Thank you.
You know, you're welcome to come back anytime.
When am I coming back?
When is your thing happen?
We'll talk.
So June.
When do they vote for you?
Yeah, June 22nd
When's
is
the
the
election?
primary for everyone: mayor, comptroller, city council members, borough presidents.
June 21st.
June 22nd.
22nd.
Not
Okay.
messing
Early
up.
voting.
Coming up quick.
Yeah, early
Yeah.
voting starts June 12th.
Nice.
And listen, for those, I mean, this might have to be a whole other show, but it's ranked choice voting this year.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
So
the new
if y'all-
thing.
If any of y'all remember the old
Another
school
animal.
board stuff, it's gonna be wild.
that's another animal.
1,100 candidates running throughout the city. So it's,
Crazy.
Yeah, this is a big
Crazy.
year.
It's a big race.
Yeah.
And you have the choice to rank them or
Yeah.
not. So
yeah.
say
So
what your number one or not.
So the deal is this, y'all, because I know, you know, my people, you know, they don't really come out for the, you know, the lesser local elections.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if you, and I'm glad y'all came out for the general election. You know, we got rid of the clown guy, right? It happened.
Who that? Who that?
You know, the clown dude, you know. But if you really want to be involved in politics and you need to be, and you really want change in your neighborhood, you got to get involved in the local election.
That's right.
So that you can have that change happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't touch the president, right? But I could touch Khari. Khari's across the table right now.
That's right.
He's right here.
Right.
Right. So I pick up Khari on speed dial. Khari, listen, man, I got some things going on in Brooklyn. What can we do? Like, you know, their office is in your hood.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so if you don't vote in the local election, then you're not going to see real change in your neighborhood.
That's
right.
what happens.
I mean,
yeah.
Right.
The government is the government, right?
Yeah.
You know, Biden and those guys and the senators, they're working on the country, right? But people like Khari are working on Brownsville,
right,
East New York, Bed-Stuy,
right,
Clinton Hills. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
That and that's someone you can touch. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm stressing it. That's why I wanted to stress the date. That June 22nd date is important.
Yeah.
That you'll need to get out there and vote like you voting for the president.
Right.
And I want to say something to all your Brooklyn listeners too, and the other borough presidents could take this, right? So Borough Hall is on Geralman Street in Brooklyn, right? 4 train, the 3 train, all the trains get there. What I'm going to do is different. Every week, I'm going to be at the community board, your local community boards, and having Borough President's Day there so that you don't have to jump on the train, leave your comforts of your neighborhood to come have a conversation with me. So it's either going to be in your local elected office or your community board office. So like you're saying, they can find me in those offices Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because it's really about the folks being able to talk to you and you educating them on what they need. And too many times you get in that office and nobody gets to see you. Y'all gonna see me every day. The only day y'all ain't gonna see me is when my wife told me to stay home. But for the most part, and so that's why this is an important thing for anybody running for borough president, that you got to be able to touch those folks.
Absolutely.
All these boroughs are big, and you just can't stay in one area and think you're gonna win.
And you're gonna be hopping because Brooklyn is busy. Because I know our borough president is all over Manhattan. So you have to make these appearances, even late at night when stuff jump off.
And
So
Gail Brew is my hero.
Yeah, okay.
She drops legislation like every day.
That's who sued the mayor.
Listen, shout out Mark Levine running for Brooklyn, Manhattan Borough President. I don't know if you supporting him, but that's my dude. It's all right.
It's okay.
It's okay.
We can all do that,
Yeah,
right?
you can support who you want to support.
Support who you want to support.
I got my candidate coming on soon.
All right. This is that kind of show. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is about ideas.
You like that?
Yeah. It's like about ideas. This ain't about,
just don't take back my endorsement.
This is not.
I got you.
This is not a tribal show. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all different at this table. You know what I'm saying?
Stan is running too.
Absolutely.
That's right.
He's running for Queensboro.
Absolutely. In the general election. So I'm not doing the primary thing.
That's why I was being slick about it, talking about, Stan's my dude too. Like
that's right.
Y'all need to connect. Y'all need to connect.
We're gonna change the city, man. That's what we're gonna do.
I gotta announce the guest for next week.
Let's go for it. Come on, Saundrea Coleman.
So next week, I don't know if you know or not, but she's running for District 35. Crystal Hudson will be on.
That's my girl, Crystal.
I found on social media she's fire.
Shout out Crystal Hudson.
She's coming on next week. So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my city council person.
Okay.
I live in her
she's
district.
coming on. She's gonna come on virtually unless she might want to come on. It's up to her, but yeah. So she's already locked and loaded. So that's what we're gonna bring on.
You should look her up. She has a very interesting platform.
This woman is like
pro is on catch.
She's fire. I found her about a month and a half ago. I was like, I checked out. I was like,
I'm gonna text her and tell her she need to show up because this is
yeah.
dope.
Well, let her know. So she has the option. So connection. It's up to her. Yeah. So let her know though, so that's what's coming on next week. So thanks again for coming out. Glad we got
problem.
And you did ask when you're coming back.
Yeah.
You got to get past that prime. You get past that primary, you automatically back.
Oh, wait,
we'll see. We'll see. Wait, I'm messing with them. No, I'm making them push. We'll see what happens. We can probably bring you on a little bit, but we won't. It won't be a full because we got a whole lot of people got to bring. Maybe zoom you in for 20 minutes.
I'm gonna jump in just like that.
Yeah, we can do that. That's doable.
You can absolutely do it.
I got opinions on everything, so I'll jump in.
Let me know. We'll talk.
Thank you guys for having me.
No, it was fun. Yeah,
Good.
Very informative.
So this week, y'all, you know what I'm saying? We'll be back next Sunday at 4:00, same bad time, same bad channel. And I can tell you that this conversation here could have gone well into 3 hours. It was just that interesting and engaging. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't feel like I was droning on. I was like, I can't wait for this hour to go. Next thing I looked up, I was like, damn, we passed the hour. I'm like, all right, Mike was like, yo, it's an hour, right? But but you know what? When you're on the station.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
You can go over the hour. You know what I'm saying? We cool. We do that.
Also, follow us our YouTube channel, One Nycha TV. Okay, One Nycha TV. Click, like, and subscribe.
All right. What other platforms is that?
Huh?
What other platforms we got going?
Well, we're on that, and of course, we're on Facebook, Twitter,
Spotify.
Yeah,
Spotify, Apple Music, right?
All of that. Yeah.
That you guys can catch it in your car. Hit it in Spotify One Night, and you can hear it wherever you want to hear it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Apple Music.
We're all over.
Apple Podcasts. Exactly. We're all over.
Going and exploding.
So, and I know we don't normally talk about it, so I'm glad that, we kind of brought it up. that there's other places you can actually
About to
air
lift
the
off.
show.
About to lift off.
We're gonna lift off, mama.
One night to one people.
One night to one people.